Hello everyone, how are you all? Children, this is my last video for the academic session 2020-2021. You already know this time you'll be having a physical exam. You'll be coming to school to give your exams, and that is why you have to wear a mask, carry your own hand sanitizer and your own water bottle. Remember that, okay? Now, some of you might be having doubts as to how to prepare for your exams. What kind of questions are going to come? For that, I'm here. Let me tell you what kind of questions are going to come. One thing, remember, when you are preparing for your final exam in any subject, make sure that you read the chapters carefully, okay? Because some questions which are given at the back of each chapter will come. Beside those questions, few one-word questions or true and false or fill-up type of questions will come from within the chapter, which you will be able to do only when you read the chapter carefully and you remember the story. Okay, so let us see what all kind of questions are going to come in your exams. The first one is one-word answers. So one-word answers, as you know, a question will be given wherein you'll be asked to answer that question in either one word or maximum in two words. It should not be in a sentence form. One word questions will always be written, always be answered in one word, two word or maximum three words, not in a sentence form. Okay. Then is a fill in the blanks. Fill in the blanks, what is given at the back of the chapter, that might also come, but mostly the fill in the blanks sentences are taken from within the chapter. Sometimes it is in the bookish language. The sentence which is given to fill it is the bookish language, but most of the time where I make a paper, I try to make the blank in my own words, okay, in my own sentence. So when you'll be attempting the fill in the blanks, the sentences will be mostly in my own language, in my own words. So you'll have, in order to answer them, you'll have to remember from which chapter that sentence has been given. Then the third type of question will be true and false, wherein a statement will be given and you'll have, after reading the statement, you'll have to decide whether the sentence is correct or incorrect. If it's a correct, you will write true. If it is incorrect, you will write false. In case the given statement is a false statement, it is incorrect, then you will have to rewrite the sentence by correcting the mistake. Okay, and when you are correcting the false statement, you will not write it did not or do not. You will not write you will not write these words, but you will write the actual thing which has been given in the chapter. Okay. Fourth one is give reason for each statement, wherein a statement will be given and then you'll be asked why that statement is written, and mostly it will be on the basis of the chapter. It can be from the statement can be the bookish language also, it can be in my own words also. Okay, so when a reason has to be, reason means why. Okay, so the answer will always begin with because. So when a statement is given and then a reason is asked, you will start because and then you will tell the reason. Okay. Fifth one is word meanings. Word meanings, in every chapter on each page there are few words given in a box with the meanings that you have to learn. And maybe from while explaining, if I have explained to you, if I've told you meaning of a word which is not given in the book, that word also will might come in the exam. Okay. The sixth one is reference to context. Reference to context means a few lines taken from within the chapter and few questions made on the basis of those sentences. Okay, and when you'll be doing reference to context, then you'll again you have to remember from which chapter it is taken, what happened before that line in the story, what happened after that line in the story. Because when it is reference to context, it's not always, the answer will not always be there in the sentence, in the context that is given, but it answer might be in something that has happened before the sentence or after that has been mentioned in the sentence. So reference to context, few lines above, few lines below from within the context, that will come. So for reference to context also, you have to understand the story. You have to remember what does they refer to in each story and other related type of question. Next one is short answers. Short answers mean a question whose answer can be written in one or two sentences maximum. Okay. Then is long answers. Long answers are such wherein you'll have to give a more detailed information. That means the answer will be consisting of maybe 3, 4 or 5 lines, or maybe 10 to 15 lines depending upon the question. Okay. The next one is the character sketch. Character sketch means the main character of the story you'll be asked to write something, write 50 lines or 100 lines, 100 words about that character. Okay, so when it comes to character sketch, try to write it in your own words. Remember the chapter, whatever has been mentioned in the chapter about the character, you can use that in character sketch, because character sketch is the nature, the personality of the person that is being given there. Okay, or about something that is being given there. And last one is the make sentences. We make sentences, mostly those words will be given which have been used in the chapters that you have read. Okay, but the thing that you have to remember is when you are using the given words in a sentence, make sure that the sentence is of your own and not of the book, that is from the chapter that from where it has been taken. Okay, so remember, I'm again telling you, when you are using a given word in a sentence, try to frame your own sentences. Do not try to write a sentence in which that word has been given the same way it has been mentioned in the chapter. That way you will get marks, but you will not get complete marks. Okay, if the word is used in your own words, in your own original sentence, then you will be given full marks. If it is if it is a sentence which has been used in the book, which is already written in the chapter, then I'm not going to give you full marks. Okay, because that is a way of testing your sentence making skill. Okay, so these kinds of questions are going to come in your English literature, and prepare yourself well. Read the chapter carefully 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, as much times as is required, and try to answer one word, correct the false statements, and give reason as well as reference to context in your own words as much as possible. Okay, and pay attention to grammatical mistakes, to spelling mistakes, because many children are there who write the correct answer but they make grammatical mistakes, or they make silly mistakes when it comes to spelling. Okay, now let's come to the language part. Okay, when it comes to English language, remember, grammar is all about practice. I have told you this before also. There is no set type of question, okay, that comes. It depends upon the topic that has been given in your syllabus or that has been done in the book. But there are certain questions which are always common in language paper. Okay, for example, you will get a question on unseen passage, that is a comprehension, whereas a passage will be given, a short paragraph will be given, and few questions based on the paragraph will be there, whose answer you have to search from within the passage, from within the paragraph, and then you will write it down. Okay, so to do that, you'll have to first read the passage and then you will have to answer the questions. Another one will be the letter. Letter, you'll get both formal as well as informal letter. Now remember, there are marks for formal letter and informal letter. Okay, when it comes to the format of formal letter, you get 3 marks for following the correct format of letter. Okay, and when it is informal letter, following the correct format of informal letter will help you get 2.5 marks, just like that. And the remaining marks will be on the basis of what you have written in your body of content. Okay, similarly in the formal letter, for format only you will get 3 marks. If the format is correct, if you have used all the proper format of formal letter, you will get 3 marks, and the remaining marks will be for the content of body of letter, that is the content of letter, what you have written in the letter. Okay, so like 3 marks and 2.5 marks is just like that, which you can get very easily if you follow the format of formal letter or informal letter, whichever you are going to attempt. Okay, but remember the format, learn what all things come in formal letter and what all things come in informal letter. Okay, the third kind of question will be a picture description. A picture will be given to you, and you'll have to observe that picture very carefully, and then you'll have to write few lines on that picture. Now when you'll be writing few lines on the picture, it can be 2 ways. It can be either a descriptive picture, descriptive composition. Descriptive composition means whatever is given in the picture, you are telling about that. Okay, for example, if in a picture a zoo scene is given, wherein wild animals are behind the cages and people are coming and looking at them and enjoying. So you can straight away start with, this is a picture of a zoo, and then you can tell what all thing is happening in zoo. Like there are many animals which are caged, and there's a king of the jungle lion or a hippopotamus or an elephant. A lot of people have come to the zoo to see these wild animals. Then you can also add your own imagination, your own creativity into it. That is one way of writing picture composition. Okay, that means you are describing what is already given in the picture. Second way of describing or picture composition is when on the basis of the given picture you are creating your own story. Okay, that means you are creating a story of your own which is based on the picture. So when it comes to picture composition, read the question very carefully, whether a simple picture, what is the question given, what is the instruction given, observe the picture carefully and describe it in 100-150 words, or create a story of your own based on the given picture. So these two things you have to keep in mind, what is the instruction given in the question. Accordingly you will do the picture composition. If normal picture description is given, then on the basis of the picture only you will write whatever is given in the picture with a little bit of your own imagination. But if you are being asked to create a story, that means when you see movies, everybody watches movie. Okay, so what happens? Somebody has written a story and then it has been enacted upon by the actors. The same thing, you have the picture. In the picture you will be given a few images. Then when you are creating a story, you can give names to the characters, you can give names to the pictures that is given to the different you can say people who are given in the picture. You can give them name, then you can create a story of your own which revolves around the given picture. Okay, for example, it's a story of a zoo, so zoo picture is given, so you can say, okay, that story can be a story wherein you are involved, or it can be about somebody else or imaginative. Okay, so you can start the story like it was our summer holidays, we were getting bored, so me and my friends, if there are young people you can say me and my friends, if there are old people then you can say me and my parents plus and few of our cousins decided to go to a zoo. Now you are living in Dehradun, so you have a Mansi Zoo or a Uttarakhand Dehradun Zoo here. So you can use that current information or current thing in your own compositions. Okay, and then you can continue with your imagination and you can describe, like when we entered the zoo, it was a beautiful scene, the plants were beautifully laid, there were beautiful collection, there were different kinds of parrots we saw, and then few more mischievous things that you did, or in the adventure park what did you do. So these kinds of creative or imaginative things you can add on to create your own story. But whether it's a normal picture description or whether it's a story writing thing, keep in mind the word limit. Whatever word limit has been given, if it is saying 200, it can cross 200 to 220, but not more than that, because in such case then negative marking is also done. So stick to the word limit and try to, if it's creative thing, then try to use your own imagination, your own creativity. If it's a normal picture description, then it's up to you whether you want to create a story or whether you want to simply describe the picture. Okay, then there'll be a composition, that is you can say essay sort of a thing, wherein a topic will be given and you'll be asked to write on that. You have to compose para 2 or 3 paras on that topic. Now when you'll be writing on a topic, you'll have to keep in mind what the topic is, what all things you can mention about the topic. Don't straight away come to the topic point. You have to create a background to come to the topic. If it's so for example, pollution. Now you can't say there are 3 types of pollution. What led to the pollution? What were the causes of pollution? So for that you have to write few lines which will eventually lead to the pollution part. Okay, now pollutions and all these things, the natural damage, the damage of environment, it's all basically due to developments, due to advancements. So you can start from the old age, in the early years, in the early days, or in the olden days, in ancient times, this thing happened. Then slowly with the advancement of technology, people started having more desires, they started inventing new things which needed a lot of space. So cutting of trees on a large scale started happening, or invention of diesel, and this is discovery of diesel, petrol, and invention of these vehicles. They started creating a lot of pollution, and slowly you'll come to the pollution part. Don't straight away come to the pollution part. So you have to create a ground, and then you come to the pollution part, and then you start describing it. If it is something which is related to environment, then you'll show the reason how you came to that problem, and then in the composition part only you will also tell the remedies which you can practice to solve or to reduce those kinds of problems. If a composition comes on something like technology or education, or importance or contribution of technology in education, then you can compare the education of olden days with the education of present time, and you can even use the instance of this online classes also as an example, because it will you are using your knowledge, you are using your experience in your composition. So when you're writing something, you're writing an essay, use all your knowledge, whatever you have learned from the very early ages, like from the very class, like class 1, class 2, you have been reading SST. So in social science you have been reading, in your science subject also, in your history, civics, geography also, in your chemistry, bio, everything, whatever information from any of these subjects you can use, and in your composition part you can use it, and you should use it. That shows the teacher, that shows the person that how you are using your previous knowledge to in your current work. Okay, so that is the composition part. Then the remaining whatever topics we have touched, like the active passive voice, the tenses, the homophones, the adverbs, whatever we have done in the final syllabus, that also you'll have to prepare. Only thing is, when you'll be following, when you are practicing for active, passive and tenses, you have to remember the sentence structure. You have to remember that in passive voice always only the third form of verb is used with the helping verbs. Passive voice will have helping verbs depending upon the tense of the sentence. If the active voice is in present tense, helping verb will be is, am, are and third form. If it is past tense, it will be was, were and the third form. If it is perfect, then it will be has, have or had plus the third form of verb. Okay, so that thing you have to remember. Then when it comes to tenses, you have to remember the sentence structure of all the 12 tenses that we have done, because in tenses you might have to change a sentence by changing the tense of the sentence, or a fill-up form is given wherein you have to use the correct form of the word. Correct form means whether you'll be using the present form or the continuous form or the perfect form. That depends upon the sentence. So before writing the correct form of the verb, you have to read the sentence, whether the sentence is about the present, past or perfect, and which perfect, present perfect, past perfect or future perfect. Depending on that, you will be using the correct form of the verb. Okay, then it comes to homophones. Homophones, there are two different words with the same sound but different spellings and different meanings. So when you will be using them to fill a sentence, or to complete a sentence, or to make your own sentence, you have to keep in mind which homophone word you have to use. Adverbs you have done, adverb of frequency, adverb of manner, adverb of time. So when and how and where they are used, that you have to keep in mind. Okay, so prepare for your exams, prepare well for your exams. Grammar part, you have to do a lot of practice. Whatever is given in the book, whatever you have done in copy, whatever is given in example, whatever you can find in some other grammar book, do everything, because grammar can't be limited to one book only. It is something which you can take help from other books, other classes also, be it younger, smaller classes, be it higher classes. Okay, so do that, prepare for exams. When you'll come for the exam, follow the protocol that is to be followed. Okay, be safe, prepare hard, study hard, and concentrate on the studies, and do well in your exam. All the best. Whatever assignment is given in the last assignment, do that, because it will be to give you practice, to prepare you for the exam. So do that, and all the best for exams.